Muggleton just has to cross over this crest. He will cross the line and will win the championship.
Hello race fans, welcome to a very special edition Thursday night here at V8 Supercars Americas. Something that I don't get to do very often. I am all alone here today. JD is working, but I wasn't doing anything here on a Thursday night and thought, you know what, I'm just sitting here, so let's broadcast one of these Thursday night V8 Supercar races. So I'm going to do something a little different here today. I'm going to broadcast the Thursday V8 Supercar race, but we're going to join the third split today, as we've had a huge showing here for the Thursday night at V8 Supercars Americas. Monza has really brought out a lot of people for the first time here at Monza, so it's definitely going to be interesting. Drivers that I've not seen before here in the broadcast, a lot of new names, but some great times. Zach Shaler is on the pole. I guess that would be Schaller, probably. Zach Schaller. And he's got a lap time of 150.24. And the top split, we'll see probably a pole time in the 48s. It's possible they might get into the 47s. So these guys ain't too far off. I mean, about 2 seconds maybe. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this goes in the third split. 1 minute 18 seconds of qualifying left. The guys who are on their lap now will probably get around to get one more lap in, at least if they're about a quarter of the way through their lap, to get one more lap. I turned a lot of laps this week here because it's a new track. I wanted to see what it was like and learn the track, so I actually got out in the car, got on the track this week, and this track is a lot of fun. I'm still quite slow. I would find myself about mid-pack in this third split, and but it is a fun track. It's tough. The braking zones are very intense, especially the very first chicane. It's just really hard to get that car stopped and get a good flow through that first chicane. Two, 1, 0. I think he made it. We're going to see Michael with one more chance here to put in a lap. No. Yeah, I can't tell. Yeah, I think he's good. Mark Myers finishing up a lap here. I was thinking that one was going to move him up, but still a 15th start for Mark. Check back on Michael Talad. Boy, I'm always going to find one with a tough name. Talajankic. finishing up the last of the qualifying here. We got Brett Roper still out, as well as Michael Talyankic. I'm going to say that's it. Talyankic.
Fill it up, Lachlan. You're going to have to fuel safe.
Just going to put Michael up into that 6th position. And that is everybody. So let's take a look at the qualifying results. We find Ryan O'Sullivan in that pole position. That's a little strange here, is the number 1 spot gets the outside going into the first turn. So it may not be the best position. Zach might find himself in a little bit better position for that first turn. Zach Shaler in 2nd, Paul Chetcuti in 3rd, Zachary Maynard 4th, Tyler Williams 5th, Michael Talyankic in 6th, Spencer Whitelaw in 7th, Rod Shepard 8th, Craig Jackson 9th, Brett Roper 10th, Alan Lane in 11th, Dave Douglas 12th, Edward Morgan 13th, Trevor Young 14th, Mark Myers 15th, Joshua Cushman 16th, Lachlan Hall 17th, Brian Borg and 18th. I've got the race chat volume on. That is not very common for a broadcast. I should probably turn that off. Let me do that before we go green here, because you never know, they might language could be a problem. We should be getting close to time here. Check on the weather. Mostly cloudy, 79 degrees, 90-degree track temp. 1112 on the strength of field here in the 3rd split tonight. Some details about the track. We're in Italy, 40-mile-an-hour pit lane. Shouldn't see anybody really going down the pit lane today. It should be more of a fuel saver for just a little bit of fuel they need to save here today. Alright, they do got the lights. Revs are up. And we are green here for the 3rd split on a Thursday night in the V8 Supercars Americas Series. Zach did have that inside line. That's going to move him up into that 1st position. Ryan O'Sullivan right there with him, right on the bumper. Going to put some serious pressure going into... Looks like he's got it free and clear around this high-speed kind of a carousel turn there. And now going into this really hard on the brake chicane. This is where I really think we could see somebody run in just a little too hard and wind up with an off track, but everybody got through there great. So nice job, everybody here in the 3rd split, taking it easy. And so far, a pretty good clean race. O'Sullivan still in the lead, starting to gap Zach Schaller for, maybe 4 car lengths or so. Paul Chetcuti in that 3rd position. Tony Williams in 4th. Michael back in 5th. And Zach Maynard in 6th. For some reason I'm not getting any live timing on these drivers, so it's hard for me to tell. There we go. Where the battles are. There we go. 12th place, we got Dave Douglas battling for position here on Mark Myers. Whoa! Had a car just off there. Spun around backwards. Trying to find out who that was. Lackland Hall. Some significant damage there to the Tyrrell machine. He does get the car turned back around, and on his way he finds himself back in 14th position. I think he locked up the rear brakes maybe going into that turn, and he just ended up sliding right into the back of somebody. Mark Myers now looking to really put some serious pressure on Trevor Young for that 10th spot. Mark really looking to get into the top 10. Just up the field a little bit, we've got Craig Jackson and Rod Shepard in a battle for 7th. Rod managed to pull away coming out of that turn a little bit. We'll see if Craig can kind of pull him in down this straightaway. One of the most difficult parts I had was finding a good braking zone coming into this very first chicane. Check back at the front. Ryan O'Sullivan, pretty good pressure on Ryan here from Jack Schaller for that first position. Paul Chetcuti's right there as well. So a good battle for this #1 spot here in the third split. On board with Paul Chetcuti as he's still trying to reel in these top 2 cars. Great battle here for the first spot. These 2 are not letting that leader get out of their sight. On board with the leader as he enters this first chicane. Full speed through this slow right-hander here, and then hard on the brakes to try to get through this second chicane. And you hit this curb and it just upsets the car so bad it's hard to get back on the throttle to get going. Ryan did a great job there getting through there. And these 2 turns here, these 2 right-handers, they're kind of awkward. It's I don't know, the apex is just strange. You got to really get the car slowed down to get the apex just right on those turns. If you don't, it'll take you way wide and you'll lose a lot of time. This is the fastest of the 3 chicanes here. Kind of an extra big one. Schaller now right up on the bumper of O'Sullivan. Guys coming up on lap 5 of 26. Craig Jackson still working to have a battle there with Tyler Williams. Tyler up in that 6th spot. Craig's really not letting him go. And then just a little ways back, we got Rod Shepard in that 8th position and Brett Roper in 9th. Mark Myers has made it around Trevor Young and finds himself in that 10th position. Trevor Young not letting him get away though. He's staying right there with him. We might see another battle here for this 10th position before the race is out. Alan Lane back in 12th. Blackman Hall still on the move in 13th. Josh Cushman through the first chicane. A little bit of damage there on the right front. Dave Douglas right through the chicane. And his car disappeared. That might have just been one too many penalty points for Dave. Edward Morgan out of the race. Brian Borg out as well. Not sure Brian ever actually made it to the grid. Back up front, Ryan O'Sullivan find himself under significant pressure as Zach Schaller and Paul Cicutti right there. Paul right on the bumper of Zach Schaller. A slowdown for Ryan O'Sullivan. That's going to give up that first position. He's going to have to tuck back in 3rd position, see if he can stay with those guys, not let them get too far away. That's going to give the lead to Zach Schaller. Tough break for Ryan. Paul to the inside. He holds position. That's going to let the Kimmy's Rule Fencing Zach Schaller regain that number 1 spot. And Paul Cicutti off pace there. That's going to let Ryan Sullivan get right back up to him. Well, I guess he's not really off pace. I guess Ryan was more on it than Zach was off it. Ryan doing good to catch right back up here, and now really putting pressure on Paul Cicutti for that 2nd spot. See, Paul definitely got that first chicane figured out just a little bit better. He gains quite a bit of time through that first chicane. That's going to put him side by side coming down this final straight. Zach's got the better line coming out of the chicane. I think that's going to be a real tough spot to pass there in that chicane. Just because the outside car ends up having that better line coming out of the turn. And he's got the inside line for the next one, so we'll see. Paul definitely with a little bit better drive through some of these corners, but Zach Schaller's got he's got good position, and he's definitely got good speed. Paul gets it sideways. Ryan's going to get by. Paul does collect. That's going to put him back into the third position. He was able to collect it pretty quick. Ryan nearly almost didn't get by. Great job to Paul for collecting that and getting right back on it. Fourth place is Zachary Maynard. Reeling these guys in as these guys get up there and start battling each other. Zachary Maynard's finding himself with an opportunity to reel these guys in and maybe have a chance for podium position. Michael back in fifth. Tyler Williams in sixth. Craig Jackson. Now, pretty good gap between he and Rod Shepard for that 8th position. Brett Roper in 9th, and Mark Myers still in 10th place. Trevor Young really sticking with him pretty good. Just maybe 5 or 6 car lengths separate Trevor Young and Mark Myers for that top 10. We'll check back up here as Paul thought he might go for that inside lane and try to make a move into the chicane. Just not close enough right now to try to get a move done, as O'Sullivan started to pull away a little bit here. Now we're starting to see a pretty good gap here between the top 3 cars, as Ryan Schaller starts to pull away a little bit from Ryan O'Sullivan, and Ryan with about the same gap back to Paul Cicutti. Coming into the first half of this lap with these 3 chicanes might give these drivers an opportunity to reel back in those distances. Like Paul might have got a cut track right there. He did. That's going to put him right in the mix with Zachary Maynard. So Zach finds himself with a good opportunity here to get a podium position. Just heard the definitive sound of a motor going south. Check through the traffic and see if I can find who that might have been. Maybe it's just like camera static or something. Paul with more trouble. Let's do a replay and see exactly what happened to Paul here as he finds himself in a little bit more trouble. That puts him back into the 5th place for now. Right in the middle of that high speed. That's so easy to do coming out of that high speed chicane there. That 3rd chicane. You just get on the throttle just a touch early, and that's exactly what happens. It just gets a little bit tire spin, and that lets the 2-car Tyler Williams by, as well as now a battle with Michael Tiget. I'm going to struggle with that name all race long. Michael Talyankic gets by. Paul now finds himself back in the 6th place. What started out as a great run for Paul has started to kind of dwindle a little bit. He finds himself back in 6th place. I think that if he lets his tires cool down a little bit, he's really got a lot of push there. So maybe he's lost the tires already after the first 10 laps here. Maybe if he lets the tires cool down a little bit, he'll be able to get a little bit more grip, and it'll catch those guys and put a little bit more pressure on for those 5th and 4th positions maybe. Check back on our leader, Zach Schaller. Still not getting any of the live timing. There we go. 1.7 second gap back to 2nd place, Ryan O'Sullivan. Ryan's looking pretty safe there in that 2nd spot, over 6 seconds back to 3rd place, Zachary Maynard. Zach Schaller still pulling away. Now over 2 seconds between he and 2nd place Ryan O'Sullivan. Zach making his way through some lap traffic. Allen Lane losing traction there, coming out of that 2nd chicane. Able to get out of the way. Does that look like Michael? Michael and Tyler Williams in a serious battle here. Tyler now to the inside. He might be in pretty good position coming into this 2nd chicane, but it's so hard to get slowed down. Michael not able to do so. He'll blast through the chicane and take a slow down. That's going to put Tyler Williams up in that 4th position. Craig Jackson finding himself having a pretty good run here, up in 6th place in this 3rd split on the Thursday night special edition of the V8 Supercars Americas. Craig still got a pretty clean car, 12 laps down. Rod Shepherd just a little ways behind. It's still possible that Rod could get up here and have a battle with Craig for this 6th position. We've seen several cars find themselves in some pretty big trouble. This track is quite tough, and Paul Cicutti, he is out of the race now. He's one of those drivers that started off really, really well, battling for a top 3 position, and just one little mistake after another tiny little mistake kind of put him further back in the field, and then ultimately a little bit bigger mistake, I think, ended the race there for Paul. Let's check the gains and losses while we're at the halfway point. 13 laps down of 26. Zach Shaler is in that first position. Ryan O'Sullivan, the pole sitter, has lost just 1 position to get himself back into that second position. Zachary Maynard in third. Tyler Williams in fourth. Michael Talayankic in fifth. Craig Jackson in sixth. Rod Shepard in seventh. Trevor Young in eighth. Mark Myers ninth. Lachlan Hall in 10th. Alan Lane in 11th. And Brett Roper 1 lap down in that 12th position. Joshua Cushman still out on the track. He's 2 laps down, but still pushing forward. He's in that 13th position. Ooh. Loses traction coming out of that chicane and finds that inside tire barrier. I think he's going to be able to keep on. He did hit it pretty hard though, but the damage don't look too bad. He may not be forced to pit after that one. These cars are pretty tough. Checking on the leader, Zach Schaller. He's now got 11 seconds between he and second place Zachary Maynard. So I think something must have happened. Something happened to O'Sullivan. Let's see if we can go back and find what happened to Ryan O'Sullivan, who was up in that second place position. Now looks like he might be out of the race. One more time, see if we can find it here. Not sure what happened. Went back 4 times and couldn't find the incident, so. So that's going to put Zach Schaller out with the outstanding lead over second place Zachary Maynard, who just a few laps ago was back in the 4th place, looking on the outside in on a podium position, now up into the 2nd place. And Tyler Williams, who not too long ago we seen back in the 6th place position, now sitting in the bronze position on the podium. There for Kimmy's Real Fencing. Michael Talayankic, he's able to keep from getting any damage. He's able to regain control of that car, and that's going to let a lap car by. But so no position loss there for Michael. He's able to get it back under control, but he did lose some time to that 3rd place Tyler Williams. Checking back on 9th place Lachlan Hall. Lachlan started the race, had a pretty bad incident at the start of the race that took him back into latter positions on the field. But been driving a pretty clean race, other than that first little incident. Brett Roper, another driver that's sticking with it today. Going to try his best to get through this race. He is in the 11th position. He was slated for a 13th place position by the I-rating system. So if he gets finished, he should end up with a positive I-rating gain. And if you can get through a race and gain I-rating in these lower splits, that's definitely a positive race for you. That's racing in these third splits is a little different than racing in the upper splits, because you're still learning the car and you're still learning as a driver a lot. So the main thing you're wanting to do when you run in these third split races is you're wanting the position that you finish in to be better than the number on your car, because iRacing chooses the number on your car based on where it predicts that you're going to finish the race. And if you finish better than that position, generally you'll gain I-rating, and that's how you move up in the iRacing system, and we'll move up to another split and race against tougher opponents and things like that. So a lot of drivers here today going to be gaining some I-rating. Craig Jackson in that number 9 Kimmy's Real Fencing car. He finds himself in the 5th position. So it's going to be a good day for Craig. Michael's still up in the 4th position. It's going to be a good day for him as well. Kimmy's Real Fencing guys definitely going to end up the day, finishing the day. Of course, there's still a lot of race left, but so far looking like a pretty good I-rating day for those guys. Tyler Williams in the 3rd position. He is 11 seconds down from 2nd place Zachary Maynard, so it's going to be tough for Tyler to catch another driver to try to make position. But with 10 laps to go, with the way that we've seen it so far, with the chicanes catching drivers out, with track penalties and things like that, I'm not going to rule it out. It's definitely possible. But the driver who's been having an excellent race here, the number 3 is Zach Schaller. He's kept the car clean and just had a great race here to find himself way out in front. Here in the 3rd split, a special edition Thursday night race in the V8Supercars Americas Series. Still maintaining a really good pace here. That last lap of 151.4. That's still turning great laps. He's definitely got a good momentum through this track. And as we can see, if you can just keep the car clean, keep it on the blacktop, you're really fair to have a great race here at Monza. And he's done exactly that. Not only has he done that, he's done it with some pretty good speed. Tyler Williams had a little mistake there because he was 11 seconds behind. Now he's just over 20 seconds behind. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Tyler. Ooh, pretty big crash back behind him there. like Lackland Hall with a little instinct coming into the second chicane. Ooh. That was Michael got into the rear. Something horrible. I was on board with Michael back then when he had that little instinct there. See Lackman up there, just unable to miss it all. That's serious damage. You can hear the engine struggling to fire. He's going to be lucky to get it back around to pit road. Some serious front end damage there, so a tough break for another driver. Michael Talyankic finds himself in pit road waiting on repairs. Zachary Maynard still having a great race in this number 2 position. I want to apologize for the commentary. I'm sure all you viewers know that play-by-play commentary is not my strong suit. Normally I've got JD here to do all that, and I just work the cameras and nod my head every once in a while and say a word here and there. Don't have to speak too awful much. But with JD not being here tonight, I gotta do quite a bit more talking, and it's definitely not something I'm good at. Craig Jackson now up into that 3rd spot. Great points gain here for Craig with 8 laps to go. If he can keep it up here in that 3rd spot, that'll be a great points haul for Craig. Rod Shepherd back and forth. Rod's really had a pretty good race here today. I think he's had a off track or two. I see a little bit of front end damage there, but otherwise a pretty good run. Anytime you can start out back in the back and end up in 4th place in one of these races, and you can leave the track and feel pretty good. Trevor Young back in the 6th position. A tough day here at Monza as 6 or 7 cars, 8 cars maybe, has found their way out of the race. But a great race for Zach Schaller out in the number 1 spot. Now with a dominating 22 seconds separating him in 2nd place. Zach's made his way up from quite a ways back. We've seen Zach back in the 5th and 6th position several laps back, and in a pretty serious battle for position. So he's found himself up in that second position. Unfortunately, probably unable to track down Zach Schaller in that #1 position unless Zach happened to get off track or something significant happened there, which it could. 6 laps to go here at Monza. Anything could happen, as we've seen so far in this race, that it has been pretty unpredictable so far. Craig Jackson still doing a great job to stay in this 3rd position. He's got Rod Shepherd about 10 seconds behind him, so a mistake for Craig could lose him that podium position. So as long as he keeps it on the pavement and keeps turning about the same laps that he's been doing, that 153 area should keep him in that 3rd position. And Rod, I think at this point, is trying to get home. A 4th place finish for Rod is going to be a great finish, and I think that's exactly what he's looking for, just to try to get the car home and bring home in that 4th position. That'll be a great iRating gain, and try again maybe tomorrow, or let that be the race for the week and come back next week and try again. Trevor Young now on the lap down. There's that push I was talking about right at the beginning of the race. If you don't get the car slowed down just enough, that car will really push through these 2 turns here and run you way wide. Alright, 5 laps to go. This is where the drivers are really going to start noticing if they've done a good enough job on the fuel saving, or if they're going to run short. This is where they're really going to start sweating the fuel numbers with 5 laps to go. I think most drivers in this 3rd split will probably be okay. So a bad luck race for a number of drivers here at Monza in the 3rd split, and a very special edition of V8 Supercars Americas as we bring you footage on a Thursday night. And not only do we bring you footage on a Thursday night, but of split number 3 in the V8 Supercars Americas Series. Something a little unusual, but I know that the 3rd split just don't get much broadcast time at all, and in many cases we don't get the results to the races even mentioned in the broadcast. So wanted to give the 3rd split guys a little love as well, as sometimes we don't get all the way down to the 3rd split when we're reading results and such, and these guys working hard just like everybody else to try to get a race complete. And you can see that the guys here in this 3rd split definitely having a tough race, many of them. Ryan O'Sullivan was the pole sitter Started out having a great race, was putting some really great pressure there on Zach for the first 5 or 6 laps. At some point, about the midway mark, something happened to Ryan. I was unable to find it on the replays, but it was something big that took him down to 12th position, and he rode around for a lap or two in 12th, and I think something else happened to him, and so he finds himself now off track and will finish with a 13th place position. Mark Myers in 5th, still doing a great job. He's been pretty consistent this entire race. You can see his car looks pretty clean. He's been keeping it on the track and has not found himself in any serious trouble. And that's going to do very well for Mark, because he's going to have a huge points gain at the end of this race. His I rating is going to have a very significant gain. Matter of fact, everybody here tonight that looks like they'll be finishing will be having a positive I rating gain. So that's definitely a positive race for all these finishers. Zach Schaller crosses the line for 2 laps to go. This Monza is just such a unique track. Let's go on board with Zach and just take a look around this brand new released track from iRacing. Of course, it was laser scanned to be accurate down to, I think they say the millimeter or the centimeter, but I guess they give themselves some room to spare, because they say really it's probably more like the millimeter, but I think they say that's accurate to the centimeter just in case. An extraordinarily accurate track scene produced by iRacing. And about a year ago they started simulating debris on the windshields. If you're riding close to the car in front of you, you'll get some of their tire debris on your windshield. And if they've got some engine troubles, their car will spit out some oil and it'll get on your windshield. And even if they don't got engine trouble, if you follow somebody for an entire 26 laps and having one of those really intense races on the bumper, you're going to get a lot of oil and muck on your windshield just for being so close to the car in front of you. Here's where it's so easy to get that rear end to step out on you, as we've seen several cars today spin it around right there. This is the second of these, almost a carousel type turn, really long turn. Drivers can really gain a lot of time here once they figure that out. Oh, he loses the rear end. Ah, hard impact right into the pit wall. Zachary Maynard's great day might have just came to an end. It did. I can hear the engine stumbling. I don't think he's going to make it back around. But with only 1 lap to go, if he can make it back around, man, tough break for Zachary, as he was in great position there for a 2nd place finish. He does have 40 seconds over 3rd place Craig Jackson. So if he can just get it around, there's still a chance he could bring it home in the second position. But significant engine damage there, as well as handling damage. And see the position that he's holding the steering wheel in to make a right-hand turn around this carousel. He's holding the steering wheel pretty far left to go straight, even significantly left on the steering wheel there. So definitely going to be very difficult to control this car all the way home. Our leader looks like he's on that final carousel turn on his way to the checkered flag. Congratulations to Zach Schaller. What a outstanding performance to come home in the #1 spot here in the third split on the very special Thursday edition of V8 Supercars Americas. Do want to check back on Zachary Maynard and see if he's going to make it around or not. He's pulled over now. He's not going to make it. I think his engine gave up on him. Tough break. That's going to move Craig Jackson into the second position, and that is going to be a fantastic result for Craig, coming home in that second position after a very hard fought race. Rod Shepard, if he can bring it around, will likely wind up on the podium, and that's going to be another fantastic finish for Rod. I'm not sure if he's going to make it around Zach before the race is called. Yes, he did. So awesome job there. Let's go on board with Zach Schaller as he does his victory lap celebration. Zach definitely showing exactly how it's done here at Monza. You just got to keep the car clean and run some pretty good consistent laps, and you will have a good finish here. And you definitely had an excellent finish. Great job to Zach Schaller as he brings it home in that #1 position. And to be fair, these guys had no idea, none, that they would be in a special broadcast today. So we won't have any post-race interviews or anything like that, because these guys, they just didn't even know that I was going to be filming today. So, but that being said, a great race there for Zach Schaller. Several of the Kimmy's Real Fencing cars in this split, in this race here today, and unfortunately many of them not having a great finish, but Zach definitely has some pointers to give him going into tomorrow's race. Let's run through the finishing results here. Zach Schaller in that #1 spot. Craig Jackson with a great finish, bringing it home in second. Rod Shepard showing that persistence does pay off with a third place finish here at Monza. Zachary Maynard with what was a fantastic run, coming to the white flag lap, loses control of the car and runs into the pit wall. Horrible finish for Zach, but what a great run up to that point. It's a tough break for Zach Maynard. Mark Myers up in the 5th position. Trevor Young in 6th. Alan Lane in 7th. Alan with great persistence there and ended up with a fantastic finishing position. I think Alan finding the V8 Supercar kind of tough, but he stuck with it, and persistence paid off with a 7th place finishing position. Brett Roper in 8th. Michael Talayankic, that's it, Michael Talayankic in 9th. Started off great. About midway, things just kind of started going downhill for Michael. So hopefully he'll take everything he learned here, come back tomorrow night, and get a much better finish. Tyler Williams in 10th. Lachlan Hall in 11th. Josh Cushman in 12th. Ryan O'Sullivan 13th. Paul Chekuti in 14th. Spencer Whitelaw in 15th. Dave Douglas 16th. Edward Morgan 17th. And Brian Borg finishes in that 18th position. I want to thank you guys for taking a look at the 3rd split in the V8 Supercars Americas Series. It was definitely an eventful race. The guys had no idea, like I said before, that I was going to broadcast their split, so maybe some of them would have done things a little different had they known. I don't know, but had nothing to do tonight, so I thought, what the heck, let's broadcast a race. And so that's what we did. We brought you the 3rd split race here in a very special Thursday edition of V8 Supercars Americas. Join us tomorrow night, Friday night, as we bring you top split action here in the V8 Supercars Americas Series, where we have a very serious run going on for the championship. After 2 weeks, Sean Kelly, Marlon McMullen, top runners in the series. Definitely going to be a great run for the championship. Of course, this is a brand new track. First time these guys have raced it here today in the V8 Supercars Americas Series. Tomorrow will be the first main broadcast of Monza here in the V8 Supercars Americas Series, and it's going to be fun. Those guys have been practicing all week long. They're turning some amazing lap times, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This track is so tough. So join us tomorrow night as we bring you some exciting action from that top split race, and we will see you then.
Contact free. Plus,